So is my presentation visible for you?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So thank you very much, dear Giulio. And I would like also to thank the organizers for invitation to take part in this important conference. And the topic which I would like to present in the name of my colleagues is called From Foothills to High Mountains, New Data on Distribution and Chronology of Kura-Araxes Tradition in Armenia. And as the main aim of mine is to present the main result of excavations of 4 archaeological sites which bear Kura-Araxes materials, among others. And these sites are Margahovit, excavations of which took place during 2011 to 2017, directed by BOBOKHYAN and myself. This was an Armenian excavation. Then we have the Soth excavations. Particularly, we concentrate on the site Soth II. Excavations took place during 2011 until 2015, were directed by Rene, KUNZE and myself from University of Halle and the Institute of Archaeology and Ethnography of Armenia. This project is known as Ushkiani project. Then I shall present recent results of excavations of Artanis, which took place during 2020 until 2021, directed once again by Rene, KUNZE and myself from University Halle and our institute, in the frames of the same project, Ushkiani, and also the excavations of Garmisar during 2013-2021, directed by Alessandra, GILIBERT, Pavol, HNILA, Universities of Venice and Berlin. This is the so-called Visha project. The main aim of ours is to put the problem of the last stage of Kura-Araxes culture and its final phase in problem of landscape use. I begin with Margahovit. Margahovit is situated in the Lori region of modern Armenia. As you see here, the village of Margahovit, the situation of it, this is between 2 towns, Dilijan and Kirovakan. You see here the situation of Margahovit. Its real name is Sarisop. Margahovit is the name of the village. It is situated among other archaeological sites and takes a pretty central position. And this is also reflected in archaeological materials. The importance of this place is that it is situated among metallic ores. As you see here, we have different metal ores like copper, iron, gold in the region, and the beginning of excavations in this site had also a purpose to demonstrate the possible link between metal work and also the archaeological site. And we began our excavation in 2011. You see here the site from above and its topographic map with the trenches demonstrate realized in different parts of the site. The hill is on the whole 7 and 8 hectares, and on the topo map is reflected 3.5 hectares. And the fortified section you see here is only 1 and 2 hectares. Regarding the question of periodization, we are dealing here with the periods of early Bronze Age, then Middle Bronze Age, Late Bronze Age, Iron Age, and we have also medieval period, and I should say that the 90% of all kind of materials represented and excavated, unearthed in this site belong to the Kura-Araxes period, reflected mainly by stone architecture, pottery, and other finds. Regarding the problem of transition, we should say that it is hardly visible in Margahovit. We have Middle Bronze Age in Margahovit, but it is the late period of Middle Bronze Age. We have some sherds which could belong to Markopi perhaps, but it is not really clear for us. I shall try to demonstrate the stratigraphic situation in Margahovit according to some trenches and profiles. As you see here, it is essentially visible that the wall, fortification wall with such kind of materials essentially belongs to the Iron Age, perhaps early Iron Age, some 1000 BC, and Kura-Araxes materials appear under it. So it is everywhere the same situation, and which tells us that the fortification wall has nothing to do with Kura-Araxes. One of the essential data appeared in the other trench F, where we have round structures, as you see here, clay floors, among which we have on the whole not a lot in situ situations, because the medieval graves have destructed many of the finds we have, but the most importantly, in some parts we have such kind of clay objects, and one part of them where we can say even sealed into a Kura-Araxes period pot, which actually are considered to be something connected with metallurgical work, perhaps molds or not, or maybe they are parts of plasters. This is a question which is very difficult to say, but in any case, perhaps you can also help us in defining of their function. You see here the most important concentration of such finds here inside the pot. And I shall show some of important finds which were found during the excavations. This is this kind of pottery, and this is what I mean as pottery with more or less similarity with what we know as Markopi, but it is very difficult to tell about it with 100%. Other kind of types, among which it is important to note here, especially the models of hearts. You see here different stone objects of silex and of course obsidian, pottery with very sophisticated decors. And we have only one C14 data from Margahovit, and we are waiting for other data. They are in process, which brings us to the end of Kura-Araxes. You see here the second sigma, which goes to 28th, 26th centuries BC. This is one of the region of our investigation. The second region is the Soth. In the southeastern part of the Sevan Lake, you see here the Soth Pass, which was also a very important route until medieval times. With German archaeologists, our colleagues from Halle, we did archaeological surveys in the region, where I should tell also that in this region before us worked Armenian Italian expedition, and we essentially based on the data of their investigations, and we tried also to find out new data, and support further step in understanding of this region. And you see here the concentration of archaeological sites. This region is situated not far from gold mines, and one of our main problems was also to investigate the possible link between gold mine and archaeological sites. Our main excavations took place in the site called Soth II. You see here in the Masrik Valley. This hill is on the whole 3 hectares. The 2 hectares are reflected on topo map. The fortified section here is 2 hectares. If we try to periodize it, we have early Bronze Age, we have Middle Bronze Age, Late Bronze, Early Iron Age, and Medieval period, and the most important period of the site is Middle Bronze Age. Middle Bronze Age, not the Early Bronze Age, and the last part of the Middle Bronze Age and transition period to the Late Bronze Age. Early Bronze Age materials represented by mud brick floor and child burial represent on the whole 19–20% of all materials we have in Soth. Early Bronze Age, Middle Bronze Age transition is not visible in this site. Middle Bronze Age is present, as I already told you, at later stages of this site. You see here the hill, the fortification wall is here. So you see the rest of it, and the trenches excavated by our expedition between 2011–2015. You see here Kura-Araxes child burial, or one of the most important concentration of Kura-Araxes finds in this part, with stone walls and floors of clay. The materials, Kura-Araxes materials, are reflected in such pottery and typical for Kura-Araxes finds, and this object can be even earlier than Kura-Araxes, or belonging to the very beginning of Kura-Araxes, to 3500 BC, for which we have also a radiocarbon dating. Regarding the Middle Bronze Age finds, what we have here is a typical material for Sevan-Uzerlik culture, known in eastern direction. We have also some shards of Urmia pottery coming from south, but mainly it is a situation which is typical for the end of the Middle Bronze Age, beginning of the Late Bronze Age. But we have also a cemetery which we call Soth X, with 2 tombs we have excavated there, which belong to the very beginning of Middle Bronze Age. As you see here, early Trialeti culture, and according to C14 data, we are around 1000, 2100, 2000. But the connection between Soth X and the settlement Soth II is not very clear, because it is some 2 kilometers far from it. And you see here C14 data, which we have from Soth II. This is the second sigma, if you see 3600, 3400, to which belong also the dagger I mentioned before. But most importantly for us is this stratigraphic section. We see here the wall, we see a hiatus, and we see Kura-Araxes here, from which we have this datum 2871, 2628, which demonstrates for us that the materials which have mainly belong to the last period of Kura-Araxes, and the wall is later than the Kura-Araxes itself. It belongs to the late Bronze Age, beginning of the late Bronze Age, for which we have also C14 datum. The next region of our investigations, or sub-region, better to say, is Artanis Peninsula. This is in central eastern part of Sevan Lake. Here, our expedition made before a survey differentiating between the sites of various periods. You see their distribution in different parts and different periods. And among them, we have also Kura-Araxes sites. You see here making some 4%. We now only 3-4 Kura-Araxes sites in region, and one of them, the Artanis 9, we call it Artanis 9, was found in 2015 by our expedition, just on the road leading from Artanis to Shorja. And here you see the topography of this hill. We did here also a geophysical investigation. On the whole, the hill is 3 hectares. The topomap reflected in topomap 2 hectares. Regarding periodization, we have only one period actually, and this is the early Bronze Age. Perhaps we have also Middle Bronze Age graves on it, but it is not very clear. We haven't excavated yet anything, and we have only some sherds which could belong to later periods, to medieval and other periods. So the 100% of materials we have from Artanis belong to Kura-Araxes culture. They are represented by mud brick floors, stone walls, etc. Early Bronze Age, Middle Bronze Age transition is not visible. Here, Middle Bronze Age is present perhaps as barrows, which could cover the hill after the Kura-Araxes site ceased to exist. Here, I shall show some photos from above, from 2020 excavations. We have this round structure, which could be perhaps late medieval grave, but it is not clear yet. And other structures belong to Kura-Araxes. As you see here, the wall, plaster, walls here and there, and concentration of materials totally belonging to the Kura-Araxes period. We have a pretty high walls for this period, and just this year was found also a herd inside the room, the excavations of which should be followed next year, and it is very much possible that it lies centrally inside this Kura-Araxes room. You see here the diagnostic pottery sherds. They are in process of elaboration, and we have C14 data made by our German colleagues, and they are, as you see, going to the 29th, 27th centuries BC, and they are very good representing the time period in which Artanis existed, and from the point of material culture, it is very similar to Soth, what I already demonstrated to you. And the next site, a very important point, is Garmisar. Garmisar is situated on the mountain Aragats, on the slopes, on the southern slopes of it. During the recent 10 years, with our Italian colleagues, we are doing excavations inside of the sacred landscape of Garmisar investigating the bishop stones. But what I shall present you is not connected directly with bishops, or perhaps connected. The question is not still now. Now, you see here the location of the site, the topographic map of the Garmisar, the sacred landscape. You see here, this part is 40 hectares, the topomap on the whole 100 hectares. Regarding periodization, we have materials from Neolithic and Chalcolithic period. We have less early Bronze Age. I shall demonstrate it in the following pages. Main period of materials in Middle Bronze Age. We have also late Bronze Age, early Iron Age materials, and medieval materials. On the whole, we can say that perhaps 1% only of materials represent the Kura-Araxes reflected in stone architecture and pottery. Early Bronze Age and Middle Bronze Age transition is not visible directly. Middle Bronze Age is present at early and later stages, but the connection between them, between early Bronze Age and Middle Bronze Age, is not essentially visible. You see here the operation age of our excavations, which gives the materials from the Middle Bronze, early Bronze Age. The so-called jellyfish construction is 100 meters in its diameter. And from the first site, it was not visible to us. You see here the place of our excavations. And if you see this photo made from above, here the location of the trench where we worked, and you don't see any kind of rest of the structure. And this is the case when the geophysics made by Harald von der Osten, German well-known specialist, helped us very much to identify this structure. I shall show you some photos from the process of excavations. This is a trench 2 to 50 meters and from process of excavations. And now we are approaching to the one part of the structure, and you see the location of materials inside the structure where also Kura-Araxes materials appeared. You see here 2 points from where we have also C14 data, and from these points we have also the materials belonging to the Kura-Araxes. Archaeological finds we have from this structure and also on the whole in Garmisar are reflected mainly with obsidian flakes, ceramic sherds, like I shall show you some of them, typical Middle Bronze Age or late Bronze Age pottery, medieval pottery samples, silex and obsidian materials, which could be typical for earlier periods like Chalcolithic and perhaps also early Bronze Age. And among the materials found inside the stone structure I showed you, we have also these sherds. They are not a lot in their quantity, 5-6 sherds. One of them you can see here, also demonstrated here. They all, as you can see, the so-called Nakhijevan lugs, called by Charles Burney, typical for all Kura-Araxes culture. And here, typical ornamentation. And we have 2 C14 data, which bring us to the end of Kura-Araxes and demonstrating that we have some kind of presence inside this structure. If this structure really belongs to Kura-Araxes or not, it is very difficult to say, because we have data from the structure, also going to the end of Neolithicum, beginning of Chalcolithic period. We have from Middle Bronze Age, medieval period, but this is a fact that we have also Kura-Araxes material. And what is the importance of these finds? I shall speak about it inside the conclusions. So this contribution presented some new data concerning C14 chronology and spatial distribution of Kura-Araxes tradition. Particularly, 3 subregions has been chosen, situated in various geographic niveaus. Margahovit in Lori region, the site is located in the immediate vicinity of metal mines on the altitude of 1,800 meters above the sea level and is characterized by foresty landscape. Soth II and Artanis 9 are situated in southeastern shores of the Sevan Lake. These sites are situated around gold mines on circa 2,100 meters to be characterized by arid conditions. Garmisar, southern slopes of Mount Aragat, is situated in alpine pastures, circa 2,900 meters above the sea level, with 12 monumental stone stelae called Vishab, and geophysical survey revealed around it multi-cell construction, which among others bears also Kura-Araxes sherds. All these sites reflect materials connected to the second stage of the final phase of Kura-Araxes tradition. They are situated in various environments and altitudes, however, reflect traits typical for the final stage of this tradition: fragmentation, absence of fortified constructions, discontinuity or abrupt change at its very end. Especially important is in this context the discovery of Kura-Araxes materials in the high altitude pasture of Garmisar, which is the highest point of distribution of sites of this tradition known thus far. High altitude landscapes were hardly used by Kura-Araxes people. This is a conclusion to which we come according to the data we have during last 10 years work on the high altitude pastures, at least of Armenia. And this is the first case when we see a sherd, the Kura-Araxes sherd, appearing on this height, circa 3,000 meters above the sea level. And this is similar to the Urartian and Antique periods, and in difference to Neolithic, Chalcolithic, Middle Bronze Age, Late Bronze, Early Iron Age, and medieval periods. So it means that the high altitude pastures were essentially used during Neolithic, Chalcolithic, Middle, Late Bronze Ages, Early Iron Ages, and medieval periods. And the Kura-Araxes phenomenon is more similar with itself to the Urartian period and Antique period in sense of its spreading all over on mountain regions. This is a preliminary conclusion, but perhaps you can justify or deny it. So these are my conclusions. I would like once again to thank for your attention, and here are my acknowledgements to organizers and those organizations which helped us to realize these investigations. Thank you very much.